Hello, welcome once again to Noir Alley. I'm your host, Eddie Muller. Today, I am pleased to present a film that quite a few viewers have requested. Danger Signal, a 1945 offering from Warner Brothers that's become something of a rarity. And it's got a backstory with more twists and turns than the film itself. Warner's had bought the rights to Phyllis Batome's bestseller when it was published in 1939. But for various reasons, the studio had never been able to get it before the cameras. Some of the problems had to do with the censors. No surprise there. If you're a regular Noir Alley viewer, you're aware of how the Production Code Administration often interfered with pictures it deemed morally questionable. Batome's novel, also called Danger Signal, was ahead of its time in its depiction of a charming and attractive character who preys on women. Batome's story blended a thriller with a clinical psychological study of a psychopath. The author had a deep interest in the subject, having been a student of eminent Austrian doctor and psychologist Alfred Adler, who pioneered what he called the School of Individual Psychology. Now, Dorothy B. Hughes gets a lot of well-deserved credit for her landmark 1947 novel, In a Lonely Place, which also delves into a specifically male strain of sociopathy. But it's worth noting that Phyllis Batome explored this terrain years earlier. The two books have a lot in common besides being written by women. There's even a Phyllis Batome surrogate in the story, the character of Dr. Jane Silla, played by Rosemary DeCamp.
I can always rely on you to make me sound as though I know what I'm talking about.
Phyllis Batome was a fascinating writer and woman, and I'll have more to say about her following the film. Now, after sitting on this material for almost 5 years, a couple of things finally convinced Warner Brothers to put it before the cameras. The first was the success of Alfred Hitchcock's 1943 thriller, Shadow of a Doubt, which involved a peripatetic lady killer hiding out in a small town and igniting the adolescent ardor of his young niece. Gordon MacDonald's original story for Shadow of a Doubt owed a debt to Batome's novel. The character of Charlie Oakley, memorably played by Joseph Cotten, is a carbon copy of Batome's protagonist, Ronnie Mason. The problem was that there were no actors at Warner's willing to play such a miserable cad. Until the studio signed Zachary Scott to a long-term contract. He'd made a vivid impression as villainous Demetrius Markopoulos in his 1944 debut, The Mask of Demetrios. And that led to his being cast in what turned out to be the studio's biggest hit of 1945, Mildred Pierce. Scott's portrayal of bankrupt playboy Monty Barragan was so spot on, it instantly typecast him. And with rare exceptions, Scott would play the sophisticated but sleazy cad for the rest of his career. Sort of like William Powell's detestable brother. The plot of Danger Signal has significant similarities to Mildred Pierce. Ronnie Mason seduces a susceptible career woman only to jilt her for her younger sister, shades of the Mildred-Monty Vita triangle in Mildred Pierce. Warner's pulled Danger Signal out of mothballs for the express purpose of re-teaming Zachary Scott and Ann Blythe, who'd earned an Oscar nomination for her unforgettable performance as Vita. Unfortunately, just before filming was to start, Blythe broke her back. Someone should have warned her about riding those damn toboggans. She was replaced by another fresh face in the Warner stable, Mona Freeman. Now, for the role of Hilda Fenchurch, the actual protagonist of this story, director Robert Florey chose Warner contract player Faye Emerson, who'd appeared with Scott in The Mask of Demetrios. The two actors became lifelong friends, making 4 films together. But I suspect Florey may have regretted casting her, as during filming, Emerson became engaged to Elliott Roosevelt, son of the President of the United States. And that ended up not being an advantage to the production or the film's final cut, as I'll explain after the movie. Screenplay credit on this one is shared by Adele Comandini and Graham Baker. And I want to imagine they actually worked together in the same room. Comandini was a woman's film specialist with credits like Three Smart Girls, Her First Romance, and Nightclub Girl. Baker was a crusty former newspaper man who'd been writing pictures since 1915. He'd end up with more than 175 story and screenplay credits in his prodigious career. The ace in the hole on this production was its DP, James Wong Howe, in the midst of an illustrious career that earned him a reputation as one of the greatest cinematographers of all time. With a supporting cast that features Bruce Bennett, Mary Servos, John Ridgely, and the great Richard Erdman, third billed after only 1 year of contract roles at Warner Brothers. Here is Zachary Scott doing his smarmy and sinister thing in Danger Signal.